어머, 전화가 잘 안 들려서 그래. 어머,
Show. What's up, guys? Thank you for coming back and watching the Ajumma show. Zoom now and also on the podcast for you OG fans. So for our fans, especially our Patreon fans, thank you so much for being a Patreon member. It really helps us out, especially during this quarantine. We get to buy flour and make like shitty breads. You know what I mean? Like that's what you're doing for us. So thank you for that. We are doing a Ajumma live Zoom. Ajumma live Zoom. We're doing a live show. Eunji has been doing a lot of these cool live shows, these Zoom shows, and she found an amazing producer who's going to help us out and do this whole thing. And the coolest thing is for our Patreon members, you will be able to be unmuted and participate with us because it's not going to be like our regular like live shows. It's going to be games. It's going to be different segments. You're going to have comedians on. We're going to talk shit as we always do. There's going to be music. It's going to be so fun. There's going to be K-pop, old school K-pop. Like it's going to be great. So Patreon members, you are already our members who support us financially, obviously, but with moral support. As a thank you, we are going to let you guys contribute to the show. And for the rest of you guys can watch and chat as well. There's a whole chat section that you know, we just can't have like, I don't know, 1,000 people talking at the same time.
1,000? Okay. Peter doesn't know how Zoom works.
Oh yeah, there's a limit, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, whatever the fucking limit is, we can't have everyone talking. So we're going to be able to, and our producer is going to be there live, like I don't know what it's called, but like live muting, unmuting, you know, like shit like that. So like I don't know how it works, but it's going to be cool as fuck. So you guys can participate as well in different ways. And I'm so excited that this is going to happen on May 29th, Friday.
Yay! Close out API month with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's so smart. That's right. API month, and also for some of us, the end of shelter in place or safer at home or self-quarantine, whatever it is in your region. At least in LA, we're going all the way till June, it seems like. So, you know, this will be a nice way to celebrate like one last show, hopefully. And then we can all go outside and play and do brunch and do whatever, 10 feet away from each other. But May 29th, put it in your calendars, May 29th, 8 p.m. Central, Eunji time. So if you're around the Chicagoland area, Midwest area, 8 p.m. CDT, okay?
6 p.m. Peter time,
That's right.
PST.
Peter Standard Time. That's right. 6 p.m. if you're in LA, West Coast time. And then, of course, Eastern time, just add an hour. You know what it is. You guys all know it. So anyway, thank you so much, Patreons. We love you guys. If you want to become a Patreon member, there's all these perks you could get. Like there's totes and buttons and extra like footage and early access to episodes. Like, you know, we're trying. We're fucking trying. All right.
We're figuring it out right now. I mean, I don't know. Like we're literally doing it live with you. Like I'm looking at you in that face being like, I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
You got this new fucking setup 2 weeks ago. Calm down. Fucking relax. All right.
Like, yeah, I like know so much more about lighting.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're fucking, okay, we might look chokchoke and young, but we're old fucking horses. All right.
Yeah.
Old dogs, new tricks. Like this is hard for us. Learn. Do you know how long it takes me to fucking Google anything? Because I have so much 자존심 that I'm like, if I don't know it by now, I shouldn't know it.
I'm always like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
이거 뭘까? 이거 뭐지?
Yeah, and then it's always like, I mean, I personally with all this like technical stuff and lighting and I mean, it's just like, that's not why I got into this game.
No, I just wanted to be fucking funny and talk shit. Yeah. Right. And because the world collapsed, now I got to have this fucking ring light and the whole setup, you know, and then Eunji's Wi-Fi is going in and out. Like, what the fuck? All right.
I was promised a good Wi-Fi signal, and it had never been.
Who promised you that?
Delivered. My husband, when we moved into this place.
Oh wow!
It was a vow. It was a vow. It was a vow he took.
No,
because he's actually famous. He's famous for skimping on this, even though he has his own business that depends on the internet. And I was like, bitch, you cannot.
He's famous for skimping out on internet speed? No.
Famous for it. Can you imagine that's some shit you're famous for? That's embarrassing.
He's not only cheap, he's cheap on internet speed.
Yeah. And known for this.
Known for it. Wow. What a life. That is a character. That's a character trait. Damn, that's harsh. That's like, you can tell that's like Russian immigrant shit. You know what I mean? Like upload speeds of 2 megabytes per second.
Well, I remember asking him, I was like, why don't you just get, and he just looked at me, I'll never forget. And he was like, why can't we just wait?
Wait for the speed? This is inherently why he and I will never get along. All right?
Like, why can't you just wait? It's like because I'm waiting for shit to load. He's like, so it just takes a little longer. I'm just like, that's crazy.
No, we're in fucking America, so we don't have to wait, bitch.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you.
I would have stayed in that fucking mountain town outside of Seoul. Whatever mountain my mom was going up and down to go to school, whatever that one is.
Mountain. What mountain?
Yeah.
Mountain.
Some glorified hill. Anyway, I have an update for you. Speaking of shows and live shows, I did mushrooms the other day, and usually when I do mushrooms, the way my body works is I have very low metabolism, so everything hits me slower, right? So when we do mushrooms, Eric will peak like in an hour, and I'll peak in 2. You know what I mean? So like usually it takes me like hour and a half, 2 hours, and I took it at 4 p.m. fully knowing that I had a Instagram show at 5 p.m. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to peak in an hour. It usually takes me at least 90 minutes. So I'm going to just take it and I'm going to do the show. Listen.
You're crazy.
I'm going to do the show. And then right after I do the show, I'll be like, oh, goodness. And then I'll peak, and then it'll be like, party time, right? So I've been working out lately. And I've been doing a lot of yoga and cardio. So I think my metabolism has been changing, and I've been sleeping better.
Right.
So this shit.
Are you sleeping better?
I'm sleeping way better. This shit hit me. Usually it takes 90 minutes. It hit me in 22 minutes. Yeah. So by 4:22, I was like, oh. Like I was texting with Benda and John. Our friends Benda and John, because we gave them some mushrooms.
Yeah.
So I was like texting with them. They're like, let us know how it is. And I'm on the toilet, because every time you do have you ever done mushrooms?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get that like stomachy feel or whatever. Yeah. So I have to like poop. So I'm in the bathroom, and the wallpaper, we have this like kitschy 70s wallpaper in the bathroom.
I know. It's great. Yeah.
And there's these palm trees, and they started going vroom, vroom, vroom.
Cool.
And then
after 22 minutes?
After 22 motherfucking minutes. So I
full
put on the
visuals
thing.
at 20. That's crazy.
Full visuals, like boom, 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 like vibrations. So I took a picture of it, and I was like, it's moving. And I sent it to Eric, Benda and John. And clearly it's just a static picture of my wallpaper. And they're like, haha, you idiot. And I was like, oh yeah, you can't see that.
Some dumb mushroom shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so 40-ish minutes later, I get a little alert on my phone. It says Queer Comedians Festival, the festival that I'm booked on. And I was like, oh shit. And I look at my phone and turn on Instagram, and all of Instagram. I don't know if you've ever stared at a screen while you're on mushrooms, but it's even worse than nature. It's like 5D, like lasers. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh, where's my set? I'm looking for my notebook, like, what am I doing? Oh. And I get on, and he was like, okay, our next comedian is Peter Kim. And I'm like, oh shit. And I go live with them. He was like, hi, how are you? And I was like, hi, I just want to say I'm peaking on mushrooms right now. And I don't really want to be here. But I committed. So I'm here. I was like, okay. And
Wait,
then
you said that to people?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I said it to that guy, the host, but there were 31 people watching.
Okay.
And I go into my first joke, and there are people saying like, "Oh my God, is he okay? Is he all right?" Because I'm truly like holding the phone like this. I'm like, okay, so I heard that my landlord has corona, like, and after my first joke, I started giggling so much. I was like in such a I was gone. I was in space. And
You're tripping balls.
And I couldn't remember my next joke. I just remembered like what it was about, but like the words weren't coming out of my mouth. I was like,
of course. What are jokes? What are jokes anyway? Aside from boundaries that we place on words.
Exactly. It's meticulously spaced and rhythmed phrases. That's it. It's just sounds. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I was like, I'm not going to do my set. And I was like, all right, what do you guys want to talk about? I was like, how about I do some crowd work? And then I like talked to the other guy, the host. And I was like, what's up with you? How you doing? He was like, well, it's my birthday today. And I was like, oh my God, happy birthday. And then I was like, oh man, how much time do I have left? And he was like, you have about a minute. And I was like, okay. And then I'm going into my head thinking like, okay, wrap it up. What's your closer? Give it 1 minute closer. And all the closers are like going through all the closers. I have 3 closers. And it's like going through my head, like, okay, close with this, close with this. I haven't set that up yet. And then I go, let's just count down together. And I was like, 59, 58, 57, 56. And then the host goes, can you just do something from your set? And then there are people posting on the comments, yeah, do something from your set, man. Tell us a joke. Anyway, he paid
31
30, 29. Come on, you know it. 24. When I say 23.
22.
It was probably the least professional thing I've ever done, but it was by far the most fun I've ever had. I had so much fun being a complete asshole.
I'm crying.
I should never be booked on any other Instagram show again or Zoom show. Like that should exit me out of the industry, and I would go gladly.
No.
If someone did that to me, honestly, I'd be so mad. I'd be so pissed. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Everyone's allowed a few of these, like 7. Really, because also that guy's not gonna book you. But then, I mean, there's 3 million other people that didn't see you.
You know what? You're right about that. Most people in the world have not seen me.
Yeah. If you think about it that way.
Potential.
Yeah, potential. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, wouldn't you be so pissed?
Did you get down to 1? Did you seriously count down from 56 to 1?
I think I got to like 40 something, and then he was just like, all right, let's give it up for Peter.
You got cut off?
There's a cane there.
Yeah, he apologized you.
Candy
he apologized you.
Yeah. I touched the rock. I kissed the rock, and he was like,
no. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was bad. It was
How
horrible.
much time did you do?
I was given 5. I think I did like 3 minutes and 40 seconds or something. I don't know. It felt like an hour. Truly, it felt so long. But here's what I did: like riff a new joke, a completely
you
new
remember?
joke that I remember now, but I did while I was mushrooming, which was the first time that I ever like created a new joke on mushrooms. So that was cool.
Have you ever performed comedy while tripping?
Never. No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know. I was okay, first of all, it's a lot of like, okay, I committed to this, so I'm going to do this. I should have just said, "Hey, tripping on mushrooms can't come." Give someone extra time. Or maybe do some time in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I should have just given the time back to the house, but
Mm-hmm.
I was fucking selfish, I guess. And they
Well,
Venmo me.
you had the chips. You had the chips, and
Yeah, I said all in.
Yeah.
They Venmo me
Wait, so
$10.83. I might give it back. Should I?
Is that 83 cents that is a shade?
Yeah. Just give me $10.
Yes. That's crazy.
Man. Yeah.
Did you talk to him afterwards? Did you talk to him afterwards?
No. I'm so embarrassed. I don't think I could ever talk to him again. It's not someone I know, first of all. It's like someone who knew of me and then booked me.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm thoroughly embarrassed. So I will take that and I will never ask him to book me again. Ever. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Exactly. But you know what? You don't know. He might still reach out to you.
I
can't tell you I can't tell you how many shows that I bombed and that I thought were like bordering on unprofessional because I started freaking out about bombing. You know how you do. Like you throw a little hissy fit. You ever do that? I do that.
Yeah. Screaming at the audience.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys? One time I was bombing so bad that I was like, why did you even fucking come out tonight?
You know, I have a good time, but I don't have a good time. Well, no one is going to have a good time now. No one's going to have a good time. And that's on you, sir. That's on you, ma'am.
Yeah. That was like probably the worst I've ever gotten. When I was like bombing, I like turned on the audience.
Yeah. I mean, I've had those shows too, where it's like, and then sometimes I would say half the time those people do eventually reach out to me again because they see you do other shows. They see that you are not a reckless fucking piece of trash.
Yeah.
They had a bad set. I mean, what comics that can understand that?
Oh yeah. There's no like, unless someone is like, I don't know, like an asshole. If you're if you're chill and you have a bad set, I will never put that against you.
No. And I will say that that's now whenever I see comics that like have bombed or I thought sucked, but I see that they're like booking shows and moving on, I just assumed that I saw a bad set or it was early on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's only 3 comics that I can think of that I'm like pretty sure they suck people's dicks. Like, you know, like either like they're
who's the third one?
It's speculation. I know nothing has been confirmed. It's speculation.
And are you talking about Chicago or LA?
Chicago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about this offline and put it on the Patreon?
I will say this. I truly love being so gossipy during quarantine because it's like, it's really, I've talked to my friends about this. It feels good to know that you can still be a shitty person, even though
quarantine does not make you a saint.
That like I'm in it with all of us. We're all doing it together. High five. But also, I will still be a shitty person. I will still be a fucking bitch to you and to your family. I will continue to hate because I am a hater.
You are. Your hating has gone up. Actually, yeah, it's gotten vile.
Oh yeah. I know. Yeah. It's because I don't have any like other things I'm expending like time and.
You also don't have people around you that are telling you like, Eunji.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
Yeah. No one's telling me that. No one's telling me shit. And
they
shouldn't because I'm right.
I feel bad for your son and husband.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. They're living with a tyrant.
Yeah. I mean, actually, that's like this past weekend.
Yeah.
I will say that I feels like I've talked to a couple of people about it, but this week particularly seems to have like shit has seemed to hit certain fans. for people,
Oh.
like emotionally, like mentally. Like this is like a breaking point for some people, you know, like not like they're losing their minds, but it's like the sort of, and I'm realizing this, like it's the sobering reality that you, Peter, started synthesizing like 3 weeks, I would say 4 weeks ago. Like you started synthesizing and started like planning new stuff, like seeing the world as it will be, but the thing is, you took it in and without judgment, right? You didn't say that it was bleak, and like you're like, this is new reality. Compute now, computer. Like, you know, you just like started. I saw you with your fucking eyes, like doing the math, like, like, you know, like, yeah, exactly. Like, what's like a fucking like, you know, like what's the new landscape now? How do I win this new maze?
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, I got it. Like the smartest fucking rat, you know, like I got it.
The smartest fucking rat. Wow.
Because you know these, like they were trying to survive.
Yeah. How did you know my mom's nickname for me? That's crazy. You guys have been talking.
But I saw you doing that. Like, and the thing is, I think this past weekend for most other people, at least for me, I listened to that. If you guys don't know, I listened to that daily episode like last week or something, and it was with like a pandemic reporter with the New York Times. That was like a particularly sobering episode. It was not hysterical. It was not meant to be depressing. It was a very sobering assessment of what our reality will be for the next 18 months to 4 years.
Right.
And yeah. And like, I think in the last 2 days, I decided to like do what you did, Peter, which is like, okay, this is a new reality. I'm not placing judgments on it. This is just what it fucking is.
Yeah.
You know?
And how do you feel?
Monday was rough. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Well, Saturday was okay. Sunday was kind of bad. And then I woke up Monday being like, I didn't listen to any news. I decided to just stop. And I've basically kind of continued doing that. Like I'm kind of catching up a little bit now, like a little bit more, especially with some of the
you really can't. You can't. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. It's like one can only take so much of this obvious fuckery by our government. Yeah. It's like, yeah. It's like waking up and it's good morning, Moscow. Like it really just truly like we woke up and we're in Soviet Union.
And also it's truly like outside of our control and the media day to day. And it's like, so it is, I feel outraged. I think I'm doing my due diligence with regard to being an informed citizen. But like,
you're not claiming ignorance. No. You just need a fucking emotional and psychological break from the overwhelming tidal wave that is our reality. It is too much to wake up in the morning and to internalize all that. And there are people who do that, and they're not fun to be around. So like, I need to be fun to be around for me, right? Like I can't sit here and be a bummer to myself. That's the breaking point. I can't do it. I have to at least like myself. And if I'm like, the world is over and who cares about this? And why do we even live? And blah, 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 we might as well eat fucking spam all then it's over. Your life's over. If you can't, for me, I'm this close to giving up. You know what I mean? Like I'm this close to just throwing in the towel. Yeah. So I need to do everything in my power, which that includes being blind to some of the fucking Trump stuff. Yeah. So that I could revive myself to take on the world the next day. And that's what you're doing. All you're trying to do is maintain this inch between you and insanity. Yeah. That's what you're doing. You're like putting all your effort as much into this inch and hoping to open it by millimeter through meditation and love, exercise, fucking mushrooms. Like you're just trying to push this tiny thing open. That's it. I mean, and the thing about it is the world isn't ending, right? The world is continuing on
changed.
Exactly.
Altered.
Yes.
And like,
absolutely.
and that's sort of like where I sort of got to on like Sunday, and then Monday I was like kind of like synthesizing all this like new perspective shit, and then okay, I mean like I've basically been trying to figure out a schedule and like being more realistic about like this is not just for 30 days.
No.
You know, and I'm okay with it. But that it was like kind of.
I remember we were talking
yeah.
on the podcast like 2 weeks ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this exact thing of like, well, what are you going to do then? And it's like, what can we do? You know, like, and there is this like insanely freeing notion of the lack of FOMO.
Yes.
That I have. It's so freeing because I know that no one is thriving.
This no one is thriving thing has really gotten me through sometimes.
I love it. I guess it's misery loves company or whatever it is, but like the fact that I know that Chrissy Teigen's life is hard, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to know that Chrissy Teigen cries.
Yeah. She's sick of her kids too, that it's hard.
Yeah.
You know?
And
like,
John Legend, if you play that goddamn piano one more time, right? Like it's beautiful, but like enough. Like it's just that's how I feel about the fucking cello. You know, I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're gonna need a bigger house.
Yeah. I'm gonna be out at the water feature. I'm gonna be out at the water feature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just this air fryer, just a little. Don't mind me.
That's
so crack.
Some homemade dumplings.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, that was basically it.
I'm glad that you've gotten to this point where you're like, okay, onward.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of.
Also, it helps that you're making a lot of money on Zoom shows. That's another thing.
I'm making some money, but it's also like, I mean, just in terms of what, I think some of it has been because I don't understand what create my life like. And the last 3 days have been like me kind of figuring that out, like really thinking about it and kind of being like, okay, so if that's that, then this has to be this, you know, that logic thing, if be this and this movie.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm kind of doing right now.
That's
yeah. And you know, and like, but I'm fast as you because you're the smartest fucking rat. And you did on the fly. I saw your ice meter. Dang it. But for me, I have to pen and pencil. I have to write it down. I have to go and look at a chart. I have to think a little bit. I can't do that mental math.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, it's just how I was raised in New York. I think that's just the way it is, and like I just had to always like quickly. It's nunchi, you know, like you assess the situation and you move forward. But I think you're faster than most because I'll tell you what, that's what really gives me a little bit a sense of like satisfaction and joy is that there are so many people, especially in our industry, that have never suffered, and this will break them. And the fact that we come from suffering makes us so and this is anyone who's listening, if you've gone through a shit life and a hard kind of 구질구질한 life, like fucking beat down, you know, like that kind of life, this is our time. This is our time to soar because we've gone through the fire, baby. We've been baptized.
Oh, speaking of breaking, we're going to take one.
Okay. Very nice.
You know, I was the thing about like how people who are never. I was thinking about this because Sweden has not done any social distancing shit. You know this? Did you read this Times article?
I've seen it.
And basically, they're doing fine and so fucking rich. And it's because Sweden is basically that girl.
She is
that like girl everyone likes and is like smart as well. Like because nothing horrible happened to her. Of course, she's nice. pretty. She's rich.
Yeah.
She's got all the things. That's what happened with Sweden. Is because basically they basically have never had any sort of war. They didn't engage in world war, so they didn't lose anybody. There was no natural famine that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Have plenty of natural resources. People have always been well and safe
Right.
throughout modern history.
And nobody's trying to like conquer that fucking northern tundra. You know what I mean? Like they're homogenous. They're fine.
They're homogenous, and they have, like, if you think about it, they have huge companies there.
Ericsson.
Yeah. Saab, Volvo.
Yeah. Sweden, although I don't know if this is like an actual thing to like feel bad for them about, but like they are treated like the Polish of the Fjordic nations. They're like,
It doesn't fucking matter. The Polish people like were
as in like
there's concentration like,
yeah.
I don't think Swedes.
No, not like Warsaw.
No.
I'm talking about how people say like, oh, Polish people are so dumb. Like Swedish people are known to be like real goofy and dumb. Like
because
Norway,
they're so rich. Yeah.
Is that why it is?
Yeah. Like I'm like, oh, you did I got for a fair sweater. Yeah.
Miso Bjorny. I gotta find that video. I gotta find that video. It's a thing.
Okay. This is gonna be the topics portion. Just do this really quick in terms of the catch up. Because this kind of goes into my topic today.
Yeah.
My parents have some stuff, obviously, drop off thing. And they're closing dinner.
Like,
they're just gonna close it down.
For good?
Yeah. It's just gone.
No. Wait.
I mean, there's like,
what
do they do?
There's no small business loan type of situation. They're too tired for that.
How are my parents gonna fill that out? My mom only has internet phone. I mean, truly, like, there's just no reset sort to even go to, right? Because it would require to go to a place. So the person comes and asks for rent, like, we're out, and that's what's happened. I mean, that's what's happening with a lot of restaurants in Koreatown and LA too, and here I'd imagine it's basically like people that are older, like specifically like this generation level of immigrant that don't know English that well, don't have a lot of access to loans. This is done. To not be able to take in money like this 2 months.
Damn, that's so fucking sad. A whole lifetime put into something, and boom, you can't pay rent for 2 months, and you're out. What happens to all the like stuff? Like they have stuff that's worth money, right? Like capital stuff, like machines, and is there thing like what happens? Do they sell that, or what happens?
I mean, how? I mean, like right now it's like kind of crazy, but there's a ban. Like, I mean, it's not just my. So basically, with all restaurants, you know how there are just some restaurants that only do like Korean store owners?
Yeah.
Right? 문 닫고, like it's like no one 넣고, so like they all just pick up to, you know, like 집에 가고 점심 먹게, you know, 저녁 먹을 거 그냥 pick up 하고 go home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Korean restaurants that are just that. They just do carry out for Korean store owners to take home because it's like 8 o'clock when they close, and then they don't have time to make eat. And so,
but now they're all home, so there's no point. So
there's like so multi levels of like this immigrant community that are going to be affected in terms of, at least for any of you Fockers out there, the landscape of your immigrant community inside of the city will look different. Those places will just no longer exist, and it'll disappear like that, because you're not going out either. When we all emerge from the quarantine, different.
Yeah, only like the corporate overlords like Amazon will remain.
Exactly. And all the mama shops are done. I mean, like, that was my parents were telling me, I was like, I mean, I kind of get it. It's like, what else could do?
Yeah.
You know?
Damn, that's heartbreaking. Like,
yeah.
But are your parents like taken care of via Social Security or something else? That they are? Okay.
Yeah.
So
my parents over 70.
Okay, so they're getting government checks.
Mm-hmm.
They just won't be able to work.
Yeah.
So are your parents
like gives people purpose?
Right. So do they have something else they could like do, like gardening or some shit? Or are they going to like pivot?
My parents have no hobbies, no friends, no.
No friends, no hobbies. Maybe they'll rekindle a relationship, like in their 70s.
Yeah, I mean, they live in like annoying, like they live in a community like with senior housing, so like they have people there, but like also they hate people. My dad is a very prickly man. Like,
Same.
yeah, like there's like a lot of people. This like hi in Jianzhou, like that's how my mom just like. My mom's like, the relationship's no good anymore. It's like, what happened? It's like, bye, Jana. Like it's just like, yeah.
And your mom's like, oh, okay, there goes another long-lasting friendship, because I must side with my husband.
Yeah, and my dad's just like, oh, kunuma sheki, you know, like everything's like kunuma sheki. Like, what did he do? What could he have possibly done to you?
You're a 70-year-old dry cleaner. Who is wronging you?
Why the need for such vengeance? Like it's just...
right. It's all he has. It's all the Kims have. Truly.
Yes.
It's all we have. Speaking of which, just quick side note. If you're interested in this, because Korean history is something that I learned in church, and I don't really ever like keep up with it, you know. And we were talking about it in last episode. Who knows what the fucking French and Indian War is? Did you find out, by the way? No.
I didn't even try to look it up.
I'm not Googling that. Next time someone talks about it, I'll try to pick up some context clues.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, someone's gonna quiz me? Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. But I think it's because it's also like American history, and our identity lies so like weirdly in the middle between like Korea and America. But Korean history is very interesting to me because it was almost completely wiped out. So we have come back from the brink of extinction, which is like
several times.
Yes, which is so fucking cool. And we're like the cockroaches of East Asia. We just won't go. We won't die. And I stumbled upon on YouTube this thing called Great Charts or Amazing Charts or something like that. It's one of those things. It's like this history buff guy who makes these like insane genealogy charts and puts them like transposes them against like other dynastic families during that time around the same geographical locations. So it's like a visual genealogy chart of like how like the Song dynasty interacted with Shilla, which interacted with this Japanese dynasty and stuff like that. And this was going to be one of my Kick-Ass Koreans, but I had a different one that's more immediate today. But I will do this Kick-Ass Korean next time. There was a time after Shilla Shide, and then we became like Koryo, which is like what Korea is from, that Koryo time. There was a time where we had a queen, the first Korean queen, not empress, queen. And at that time, China and I believe Japan or some other country around there all had queens. So it was a matriarchal like wash of these East Asian dynasties. And it's such a like cool period of time that I would think would be like so ripe for drama, right? For like an epic. Ooh. Anyway, I thought that was just really cool. But the Korean history, it goes deep into a lot of the Kims, and there were like these four main Kims that were like fighting each other for the throne basically. And because of, I think, and I was watching that, and when you mentioned your dad like just having this pent up vengeance even at the age of 70, it's who we are. It's in our blood. It's our DNA. We can't help it. All we can do is soften the edges around it. That is my
The hope.
life goal. That's my 목표 in life.
Yeah.
Is to just soften the vengeful edges so that I can live in harmony with a few other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Lead a virtuous, full life.
Yeah.
That's all you're trying to do. Because this anger, it doesn't go away. And then you're fucking meditating and shit.
I know it's not. It's really not gonna happen. I have to just. Yeah, I have to just admit that it's not going to happen.
Okay, we're back with rumors. More rumors.
There's so many rumors going on about Kim Jong-un. Have you been keeping up with all the different iterations? They're saying that he had maybe heart surgery and he's recovering.
Yes.
There's reports that he's in grave danger from that heart surgery.
Yes.
And then there's rumors saying that he's in a complete vegetable state.
Yes.
Right? And then there are rumors like TMZ released that he was dead.
Yeah.
So huge range.
Also, I was reading that he could just be on the down low to he's quarantining himself to avoid corona.
Yeah.
There's that, and there's also yes. And there's also the rumors that he has it.
Right. Exactly.
And then, I mean, there's like a whole multitude. And then I was also reading this thing about how many times North Korean leaders have disappeared. Like this, like, all the wild speculation. It's like, seems like the thing they like to do.
Yeah, especially because there's all these reports coming out about how Kim Yo-jong, his younger sister, has been like grabbing at power in the last like couple of years or so, and how she's been like, I don't know if it would be called a coup, but like getting all the people in the right places. Just
she's amassing power strategically.
Right.
Yes.
So this might be like such a perfect time if he does have corona, right? Might be a perfect time for her to be like, well, you clearly can't lead. So me and my people are going to clean house and take over this damn thing, which kind of harkens back to that time of like the female queens of Korea. You know what I mean? Like, so, I don't know.
Is this another show we're pitching? Time travel? Because I mean, truly, everything about North Korean government and its quote unquote court is so, it harkens back to just like classic palace intrigue.
Medieval
classic
times.
Yes. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, everything about it, because it's just like everything is obscure. There's no media looking at you. It's just strong opinions, strong personalities, and who's the best liar. Like it's Game of Thrones shit for real.
Yeah, I was gonna say like House of Cards meets Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
I love that. Oh, so many shows to pitch. But you know what? Speaking of that, I have been getting very inspired by Korean stories, and not just like my own story, but like stories that exist out there in Korean history and stuff like that. That's been really like driving my creativity lately, and it's been good.
I mean, very specifically with this North Korean stuff, though, it's like there's so much intrigue around it already because it's been a hot couple of years for North Korea.
Oh yeah, it's been all the talks have broken down. Trump's basically pulled out any responsibility to help with any denuclearization. Missiles
apparently
flying everywhere.
He knows what's going on with him. He knows where he is.
Bitch, you don't know where the fuck you are. The fuck you talking about? You stupid fuck. And he was saying how like, of course, like he came out and gave the statement of like, I wish him well. I have a very good relationship with him, which a lot of like political analysts are basically saying that like, he doesn't know how to deal with this sensitive situation. So he's very boorish about it. And he just tells us that they love each other and they're good friends or whatever. You know what I mean? So that he looks good or whatever. That's all he cares about is looking good, right? And winning. And he was saying stuff like, oh, you'll probably hear from him in not too distant future. If somebody else were in this position, we would have been at war with North Korea right now. But me, I'm not like that, And I'm like, you would love to be at war with North Korea to flex and tell all your fucking stupid sycophants that I crushed North Korea. How cool would that be for Trump, right?
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to deal with a fucking nuclear cowboy of the East. Like, North Korea is very unsafe. They don't follow any international policies. There's no like checks and balance of the UN court or anything like that. Like, it's wild. And Trump has no idea what the fuck he's doing, especially now with this like power grab that might be happening, especially with Corona, because right now, as of today, they are still reporting 0 cases in North Korea, which is what the fuck. But
you're the only
this.
country internationally that has no cases.
Yeah, you're the special one. Okay, cool. Like, even Fiji has Corona. You know what I mean? Like, Galapagos
Better than
Islands.
Fiji? You think you're better than Fiji?
You ain't better than Fiji.
Some of the best water in the world.
Yeah. Rectangular shaped.
I mean, they also have a military dictatorship. So what?
Do they really? No. Do they?
Fiji?
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So you're not supposed to like drink that water.
Drink their water? Oh, prayers to Fiji.
Yeah.
But here's some facts about North Korea. Total population of 25 million people. Okay. Mm-hmm. Out of them, North Korea has 10 million citizens who are malnourished and 8 million who lack access to clean water. 8 million people. That's all of New York City does not have clean water. 8 out of 25. That's too fucking much. That's crazy. That's not even. That's fourth world.
It makes it hard to wash your hands.
Yeah. People are probably dying. It's like having everyone at Skid Row be in your country, right? Like, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to clean your hands. There's nowhere to fucking protect yourself, wash your vegetables or whatever. And now they're even more vulnerable to coronavirus. They're saying, but they have 0 cases. So not asking for help from WHO for any international whatever. I'm sure China's doing some secret kind of like trade / maybe they're trading nuclear weapons for like, I don't know, fucking Purex, Purell,
I mean,
or whatever.
That's really that's land grab is right now for power within the regime. It's going to be his sister, and it seems like no other people except for his sister and China.
Exactly.
Those seem to be the two that are emerging from like, but also how are any of these reports getting out? And that's the other part. I'm just like, how anything real? Do any of us know anything? Like, it's
because even if the tightest hermit country has leaks, that's why. If North Koreans can watch old episodes of Friends
and Sex in the City,
and really,
yeah.
Imagine North Korean girls going, "Oh, you're such a Gary."
Yeah. You, Samantha.
Yeah. Whore. Showing your ankles. But there's leaks. Obviously, they're unconfirmed, and you can't really do the journalistic like heavy lifting. But anyway, so the regime is officially saying there are no cases, but a lot of shit's happening, including reinforcing their existing border lockdowns. They're inspecting and quarantining imported goods, especially from China. They're restricting some imports to prevent the spread of the virus, although there's no virus there. So what? Mm-hmm. And then apparently Pyongyang residents this week are reportedly panic buying. Exactly what we were doing 2 months ago, toilet paper running out. So they're like 2 months behind us because obviously they're not getting like Italy's reports or whatever, it is scary. It's really
scary.
It's really fucking scary.
I mean, it's an entire nation of vulnerable people.
Yeah, exactly. Up to the top, Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. Because, I mean, everyone is like, there has to be so many pre-existing conditions, malnourishment, people still smoke a lot there. Like, I mean, it's all of it, just across the board. It's just a nation of vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And that coupled with an inept and corrupt government, I think equal bad. Like, I'm serious. Like I mean, enormity and the gravity of it all is just like, oh fuck. Like, I mean, it is like there is a lot of they are sort of fortunate to have already the fact that they're so hermit like and that but oof.
It's tough. As much as we feel like so upset and like, oh, I can't listen to the Daily today because of Trump. Like, imagine Kim Jong-un being your fucking, girl. Woo!
Grateful daily. Be grateful for the
Be mindful and thankful for your life. And with that, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with Kick-Ass Koreans, y'all. Key!
yeah.
I'm so excited for today's Kick-Ass Korean Eunji. Mine is none other than a 16-year-old Korean American boy. Young man, I should say. I don't want to call him a boy. Young man. His name is TJ Kim. TJ Kim. TJ. What a cool. That's a very like cool guy name.
Taejin?
Taejin? Taejo? Taejung? Something like that. Yeah.
It's a okay.
Yeah. TJ Kim. Or it could just be Thomas James Kim. Who knows what his parents are up to.
Yeah.
Speaking of parents, his parents and he created this thing called Operation SOS, which stands for Supplies Over Skies. And you guessed it, the 16-year-old cannot drive, but he can fly. Okay, he is a young teen pilot, and he was a big like lacrosse guy. If you Google him, like he looks like a jock, like he looks like a big boy. And
TJ.
Okay, TJ, I see you. He was so upset about school closing down because he was doing lacrosse a lot, and that was like his big outlet. And he was like most of us, probably going stir crazy. And he was like, "How can I do? What can I do? How can I help?" What he did was he decided to take his skills of flying and help out the neighboring hospitals that desperately needed medical equipment to like rural hospitals, not like the main city ones because they could get it, but the rural hospitals were getting left out. So he could make quick trips from where he lives in Maryland. He's a sophomore in high school, and he would take a bunch of supplies to these rural, I can't even say rural areas. That is a hard thing for Koreans to say. Rural. He says once he made his first trip, all he could think of was going back into the sky and helping because he felt so good about it. And in his most recent flight, TJ carried 3,000 gloves, 1,000 head covers, 500 shoe covers, and 50 non-surgical masks, and 20 pairs of protective eyewear, and 10 concentrated bottles of hand sanitizer to a hospital in Woodstock, Virginia, a small area in Virginia. Okay. He intends, when all this is over, to attend the Naval Academy and become a fully fledged pilot. I mean, this is like Top Gun realness. Truly. He is this is like the coolest. And the fact that this young Korean hero is delivering these goods to these rural areas, which I guarantee you, there are not a lot of Koreans in. Not a lot of Asians in, and I bet there are some.
I never knew a TJ that was Asian. I never knew a TJ that was Asian.
Oh, I knew a Filipino TJ for sure, but Korean.
You know the same TJ.
Yeah, his father is named Thomas Kim, so I think his name is Thomas Jr. TJ, because his dad is Thomas Kim. He's a junior.
That's crazy.
That's fancy.
Yeah, these are like, all right, I'm looking this kid up.
Yeah, his father, Thomas Kim, told AP News that he was glad to see his son turn his earlier disappointment into something positive. He said, quote, something that combines serving the community and his love for flying. Give it up for TJ Kim, everybody. I don't know if he's on the social medias. I looked for him, but he's a child, so...
don't try to blow him. Don't try to blow up his like DMs. Or anything like that.
Well, I tried to like find him so that we could give him some love, but like, yeah, I couldn't. And I was like, and I started like looking like TJ Kim pilot.
Oh wow, lacrosse. He's like really. He is a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's like Kunin boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tall. Okay.
No, stop that. You can't be.
I'm not saying anything.
That's the problem. You're flipping your hair like you were hot.
Coquettishly.
No, this is the type of Ajumma behavior we can't have. This kid is 2 years above 14. That's too young.
Okay.
But if you are a teenager, seek him out and give him some love.
You're a fellow
teenager. Send him some love. If you are an adult, Ajumma or Ajashi, back up.
My kick-ass Korean is Sumi Terry.
Ooh.
So
Sumi
obviously
Terry.
not her real name. Obviously not her real name. She is married, but Sumi is a senior fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Relations. Do you know what this is? It is the foremost. It is the foremost think tank based in DC, right? It's of Georgetown. It conducts policy studies and strategic analysis of the political, economic, and security issues throughout the world. Oftentimes, you'll hear it cited in news reports like the Center for Strategic and International Studies, policy, like think tank kind of stuff. Like you'll hear it in a lot of news reports about what they think about various policies that the U.S. government should or shouldn't do. It is ranked number 1 think tank in the U.S. across all fields, and it's a defense and national security think tank in the world. Now, Sumi is Sumi is
I love this name because it like harkens back to like what we were doing in cars. Like, Sumi.
Yeah. Sumi. That's what I was thinking too.
I'm sure she's never heard that.
But she is, worked at the National Security Council and the National Intelligence Council. She became the senior fellow for the Korea chair at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. She is an expert on North Korea. She is, like, to me, I was reading her bio, and she was like, she's born in Korea, and her father died, and then she moved here in when she was in junior high, and she was raised in Hawaii and Virginia. I mean, this bitch was in the CIA. I mean, like, she's done it all, and now works at the foremost think tank. I was just like looking for
badass.
Because basically I was reading stuff about the situation in Korea, and this was a name that was coming up over and over again. The foremost expert on this topic, and I just wanted to shout her out because it's like, thing is, in a lot of, and you guys know this, when you'll read a lot of stuff about Korean issues, you scroll down to the end, the byline is oftentimes a white male.
Yeah.
You know this, right?
Yes. It's a white male who just like loved the culture and fell into the country.
He's the chair or something like this. So being able to scroll down and see an Asian face and see it be a woman, and who was also, she's probably like a badass, right? Like a CIA person, like kind of crazy. But yeah, that's all. That was it. That's it for her. I was just seeing a lot of her.
That's awesome. Yeah. She seems like a character that I would want to write for. Again, like these Korean stories, right? Like, do you remember Alias back in the day on ABC? Like, this seems like a great reboot for Alias.
Yeah, because she's
hot.
Yeah, beautiful. She's like in the picture on her Wikipedia is from 2008. She's been 45. She looks hot.
Yeah, I'm so excited that when we find stories like this that we want to write about. Not that we will because we're lazy, but I will pitch the idea.
Yes.
All right, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening, you probably heard the whole show because we did this in 2 different tracks. But if you're watching, I'm probably going to cut it up and only do the parts that are not as like glitchy. So it'll be like a best of this episode. So thank you for watching. And also, don't forget, May 29th, put it in your calendar, 8 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Ajumma Show Live, Zoom. Get on the Patreons if you want to get involved.
If you want to be allowed to speak.
If you're allowed to speak and laugh out loud, get on the Patreon. And do you have anything else you want to plug before we go?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. I love you guys. Bye.